Imagine for a moment that the life you will live 5 years from now is being written right now, not by your circumstances, not by chance, but by the very thoughts running through your mind at this moment. What if I told you that your future is already under construction, and you are the builder holding the blueprint in your hands? Would you design it with fear, doubt, and limitation, or with vision, courage, and belief? Every achievement begins in the mind, and this is a truth that has shaped the destiny of every man and woman who has ever reached greatness. The skyscrapers that touch the clouds, the bridges that span mighty rivers, the machines that fly across the sky, and the discoveries that have cured diseases, all of them were once nothing more than fragile thoughts in the human mind. A thought is invisible, intangible, and silent, yet it carries within it the blueprint of the future. What you hold in your thoughts is not just a passing daydream, it is the seed of your reality. Every invention, every act of courage, every accomplishment, first lived in the imagination long before it was brought into the world of action. The mind is not just a place where ideas float. It is the fertile ground where vision takes root. When you allow yourself to imagine what is possible, you open the doorway to creation. Consider the man who first dreamed of harnessing fire, or the one who believed humanity could cross oceans, or the pioneer who dared to envision electricity lighting up entire cities. Each of these achievements was impossible until a single mind refused to accept impossibility. It was not physical strength, nor material wealth, that made them succeed, but a thought so persistent and so powerful that it could not be ignored. A mind that believes is a mind that commands action, and action shapes the destiny of nations and individuals alike. Every person alive today has the same power. You, too, carry within your mind the ability to design your future. The thoughts you choose to cultivate determine what you will become. If you fill your mind with limitation, you will live a limited life. If you train your mind to see possibilities, you will discover opportunities where others see nothing. Thoughts are not idle. They are forces. A weak thought dissolves quickly, but a strong thought, held with conviction, becomes a magnet drawing to it the people, the resources, and the circumstances necessary for its realization. Think of the great men and women who have walked this earth. Before they built empires, before they composed symphonies, before they made discoveries that changed the course of humanity, they first closed their eyes and allowed their minds to see it. They carried that vision with them in moments of silence, in times of hardship and in days of doubt. The world may have laughed at them, called them dreamers, or even condemned their ideas, but the mind that holds steady to its thought cannot be stopped. The future is written by those who dare to think beyond the present moment. So, the beginning of achievement is not in the tools you hold, not in the resources at your disposal, not in the circumstances into which you were born. The beginning is in your thought. If you dare to imagine, if you dare to believe in what is unseen, you have already taken the first and most important step toward creating your future. Your mind is the workshop of your destiny, the place where every dream is forged, every plan is shaped, and every future is created. Within it lies the silent power that governs the direction of your life. Whether you realize it or not, your thoughts are constantly at work, forming patterns, habits, and beliefs that become the foundation of your tomorrow. Just as a skilled craftsman shapes raw material into a masterpiece, your mind takes the raw substance of thought and molds it into the reality you will experience. You are both the architect and the builder, and the workshop in which your destiny is designed exists within the unseen world of your imagination and belief. Every thought you hold is like a tool, and every idea is like a piece of material placed upon the workbench of your mind. Some tools are sharp and precise, faith, vision, determination, while others are dull and destructive, fear, doubt, and worry. The results of your life depend on which tools you choose to use. If you consistently allow the destructive tools of negative thinking to dominate, the structure you build will be weak and unstable. But when you discipline yourself to work with tools of courage, persistence, and clarity, your life becomes a strong edifice, capable of withstanding challenges and storms. The workshop of your mind never rests. It is always shaping, always producing, always creating. The question is whether you will take control of what it produces or allow it to create by accident. When you understand that the mind is not a passive vessel but an active creator, you begin to realize the importance of guarding your thoughts. What you feed into your mind will eventually appear in your life. Just as no craftsman can produce fine work with poor materials, you cannot expect to produce greatness if you fill your mind with doubt, fear, and failure. But when you supply your mental workshop with vision, belief, and purpose, you create a foundation that will naturally lead to success. Every word you repeat to yourself, every image you hold, every belief you nurture is a brick in the structure of your destiny. You cannot escape the law that the inner world creates the outer world. The greatest challenge many face is that they allow the mind to work without direction. Like a workshop left unsupervised, It produces chaos instead of order. Idle thoughts wander, fears creep in, and doubts take root, shaping a destiny that was never consciously chosen. Yet, when you step in as the master craftsman of your own mind, everything changes. You begin to shape your thoughts deliberately, to focus your imagination on what you desire, and to train your inner dialogue to align with your goals. In this way, the workshop begins to operate with precision, building a destiny aligned with your highest vision. Look around at the lives of successful men and women, and you will see the evidence of this truth. They are not merely people of action, they are people of thought. Long before they took steps in the physical world, they built their vision in the mental world. Their minds became workshops where they constructed every detail of their future, where they rehearsed their victories, where they cultivated the courage to act. The results we see in their lives are only the finished products of the unseen work they did in thought. They understood that the mind is the source of everything, and they guarded it as one guards a treasure. There is no greater gift than to realize that you, too, have access to this workshop. It does not belong to the few, nor to the privileged, nor to the fortunate. It belongs to every human being who dares to think deliberately. You may be born into poverty, you may face setbacks, you may struggle against obstacles, but your mind is still your workshop. No circumstance can take it from you. And with that workshop, you can build a new path, a new vision, a new destiny. What matters is whether you will take responsibility for the thoughts you hold. Each thought is a design, each belief is a blueprint, and each vision is a foundation stone. The future does not appear by chance. It is assembled piece by piece in the quiet chambers of the mind. To neglect this power is to surrender your future to randomness, but to embrace it is to step into mastery of your life. Your mind will either build the walls of limitation around you, or construct the doors that lead to freedom and success. The choice lies not in the world outside, but in the workshop within. Negative thoughts attract negative outcomes because the mind is like a magnet, always pulling toward it the experiences that match the energy it holds. When fear, doubt, and limitation dominate your thinking, they create a lens through which you see the world. You begin to expect failure, and what you expect you eventually attract. A mind that constantly anticipates obstacles rarely notices opportunities. It becomes conditioned to look for reasons why something will not work instead of searching for ways to make it succeed. Over time, this habit of thought creates a self-fulfilling cycle where negative expectations lead to negative actions, and negative actions reinforce negative results. The power of thought is not just in imagination, but in influence. Your mind influences how you speak, how you act, how you treat others, and how you interpret the situations around you. If the thoughts within are poisoned with fear and doubt, your actions will lack confidence, your words will lack conviction, and your decisions will be hesitant. Others sense this weakness, and the world responds accordingly. Failure often follows not because ability was lacking, but because the mental state repelled success. Just as a dark cloud blocks the light of the sun, negative thoughts block the light of possibility, leaving a person trapped in shadows of their own making. Fear is one of the strongest negative forces in the mind. It whispers that you are not capable, that the risks are too high, that the effort is pointless. When you allow fear to guide your decisions, you shrink from opportunity, and life reflects that shrinking back with missed chances and unrealized potential. Doubt is its close companion, constantly questioning your ability to succeed. A single doubt can grow into hesitation, hesitation into inaction, and inaction into regret. Limitation completes this trio, convincing you that you are bound by circumstances, by resources, by background, or by what others think. These thoughts build invisible walls around your mind, walls that you begin to accept as the edges of your reality. But the truth is that these walls are illusions, created and reinforced only because the mind entertains them. When negative thoughts are entertained long enough, they harden into beliefs, and beliefs shape identity. A person who constantly tells themselves they are unlucky will soon act in ways that confirm that story. A person who believes success is out of reach will never stretch far enough to grasp it. The mind creates the future by aligning your inner state with your outer results. When the inner state is dominated by negativity, the future becomes a reflection of that darkness. To allow negative thoughts to rule is to surrender control over your destiny. They drain energy, weaken vision, and make achievement seem distant or impossible. Each time you give power to fear, doubt, or limitation, you hand over a piece of your future to failure. The attraction is inevitable. What you consistently hold in your mind, whether positive or negative, will take shape in the reality you live. Positive, focused thoughts create success because the mind naturally directs energy toward what it concentrates on. When you hold images of courage, abundance, and determination, your entire being begins to align with those pictures. A clear thought repeated often becomes a belief, and that belief shapes your attitude, your actions, and your persistence. People who consistently cultivate empowering thoughts develop a kind of inner magnetism that draws opportunities, resources, and supportive people into their lives. Their mindset sets them apart, allowing them to see paths where others see dead ends and solutions where others only recognize problems. Success begins with the choice to nurture thoughts that strengthen instead of weaken. A person who fills their mind with possibility thinks and acts differently than one consumed by limitation. Thoughts of courage inspire bold decisions, pushing you to take steps that fear would normally prevent. When the mind is focused on determination, setbacks are no longer permanent defeats but temporary lessons that sharpen your approach. Abundance-focused thinking opens your eyes to opportunities that others overlook, because instead of fixating on what is missing, you are trained to notice what is available and how it can be used to your advantage. Every achievement requires energy, and positive thinking fuels that energy. When you focus on empowering ideas, your emotions rise, and with elevated emotions comes greater drive to act. Enthusiasm, hope, and confidence are all products of constructive thinking. And these qualities give you the stamina to keep moving forward, even when results do not appear immediately. In contrast, a negative mind drains energy before the first step is even taken. The difference between a winner and a quitter is not always talent or opportunity, but the ability to sustain positive focus until results appear. History is filled with individuals who proved this truth. Many started with little more than an idea, and while others doubted them, they held fast to their inner vision. That positive focus not only guided their choices, but also attracted support from those who were inspired by their conviction. Success did not arrive instantly, but their persistent focus made it inevitable. When you refuse to dwell on failure, and instead keep your attention on the possibility of achievement, you program your mind to search for ways forward, and eventually those ways are revealed. The human brain is designed to filter reality through focus. Whatever you repeatedly dwell upon becomes what your mind seeks out in the world. If you continually imagine success, your brain begins to notice patterns, opportunities, and openings that align with that vision. You position yourself mentally to recognize the very chances that can carry you forward. Focus acts like a compass, guiding your decisions, filtering distractions, and reinforcing the habits that lead to accomplishment. In the end, success is not merely about talent, resources, or luck. It is the result of a mind trained to concentrate on courage when fear arises, to hold on to abundance when scarcity threatens, and to fuel determination when obstacles appear. Positive, focused thoughts create the inner conditions where success is not just possible but inevitable. Obstacles are opportunities in disguise, and it is the mind that determines whether they will be seen as stumbling blocks or stepping stones. Every life encounters difficulty, no matter how talented, fortunate, or prepared a person may be. Yet the difference between those who rise and those who remain defeated is not the size of the challenge, but the perspective through which it is viewed. To one person, an obstacle is a wall that halts progress and extinguishes hope. To another, the very same obstacle is a door waiting to be opened, a test designed to strengthen, a chance to grow into someone more capable than before. The way the mind interprets difficulty shapes the path that follows. Every great achievement in history carries within it a story of resistance. The builders of empires, the discoverers of new worlds, the inventors of transformative machines, all were met with barriers that could have ended their journeys. Many faced ridicule, lack of resources, failure after failure, and even personal loss. Yet what separated them from the countless others who gave up was their ability to reframe adversity. Instead of seeing obstacles as signals to quit, they recognized them as signs that progress was being made. Each challenge became a lesson, each setback a clue pointing toward a better method, and each delay a reminder to strengthen patience and persistence. The human mind is extraordinarily powerful in shaping the meaning of events. When something goes wrong, when a plan collapses, or when a door closes, the raw event is neutral. It is the interpretation placed upon it that determines whether it becomes a burden or a blessing. A person who trains their mind to search for opportunity in the midst of adversity unlocks a strength that others cannot fathom. While most are trapped in frustration, such a person is busy finding the hidden value. The obstacle, instead of defeating them, sharpens them, forcing creativity, resilience, and courage to emerge. Consider the story of countless entrepreneurs who lost everything before they built their empires. In the ashes of failure, they discovered knowledge about markets, people, and themselves that no book or mentor could have given. Those very obstacles carved the foundation of their later success. Similarly, inventors who watched their experiments fail hundreds of times were not wasting energy. They were gathering information, eliminating what did not work, and moving closer to what would. Without the so-called failures, the discoveries that changed the world would never have been born. Obstacles became the curriculum through which greatness was taught. Life will always place barriers in front of those who aim high. This is not cruelty, but design. The obstacle is not there to keep you out. It is there to see how deeply you want what you say you want. If every goal were handed freely, there would be no growth, no strength, no appreciation of victory. It is in climbing the mountain that the climber becomes strong, not in reaching the top. The mountain is the obstacle, but it is also the training ground. The one who embraces the climb becomes capable of standing on peaks that would otherwise have been unreachable. It is easy to curse difficulties, to complain about challenges, and to wish for an easier path. Yet those who achieve greatness know that the obstacle is the path. Every barrier forces you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Every difficulty teaches you qualities such as patience, persistence, and faith. Every resistance builds endurance, preparing you for greater victories. Seen through this lens, obstacles are not setbacks, but setups for transformation. They push you into the very person you must become to handle the success you seek. Without them, you would lack the strength to hold on to the prize once it arrives. The choice always lies in the interpretation. To view an obstacle as the end is to miss the treasure it conceals. To view it as an opportunity is to step into a realm of endless growth and eventual triumph. The world is filled with stories of men and women who turned their darkest struggles into their brightest victories simply because they chose to see differently. The same power is available to anyone willing to believe that hidden inside every challenge is a gift. When the mind chooses to see obstacles as opportunities in disguise, life itself transforms, and every hardship becomes a stepping stone to something greater. Success is not luck, it is the result of disciplined and directed thinking. Many people look at the achievements of others and attribute them to chance fortune or favorable circumstances, but this belief blinds them to the truth. Luck may open a door, but without the preparation of the mind, the discipline of thought, and the persistence of vision, that door closes as quickly as it opens. What truly separates those who succeed from those who remain behind is the way they think. Their thoughts are not scattered, weak, or easily broken by difficulty. Instead, they are disciplined, sharp, and persistently directed toward a clear aim. Discipline in thought means mastering the mind instead of being mastered by it. Most people allow their thoughts to drift like leaves in the wind, blown in every direction by fear, gossip, distraction, and the opinions of others. The disciplined thinker does not permit this. They train their mind to return again and again to the vision they have chosen. They do not waste energy on doubts or on images of failure. They understand that every thought is power, and they choose to invest their mental energy only in those thoughts that serve their purpose. Just as an athlete trains the body through repetition, the successful individual trains the mind by repetition of vision, affirmation, and focus until success becomes inevitable. Directed thinking adds another layer to this power. It is not enough to think positively or to hold inspiring ideas. Thought must be given direction, just as a stream becomes powerful when it is channeled. Many people hold dreams, but their dreams remain vague and undefined. Success belongs to those who take their vision and sharpen it into a definite plan. They hold their mind steady upon that plan and refuse to let distractions pull them away. Their thoughts are not only positive but organized, disciplined, and directed toward specific goals. It is this precision of thought that transforms dreams into reality. Luck is often an illusion created by consistency. When a person works tirelessly, disciplines their thoughts, and keeps directing their energy toward a goal, opportunities seem to appear for them. Outsiders call it luck, but in truth, those opportunities would never have been noticed or seized without the preparation of the mind. A prepared mind recognizes the right chance when it comes. An undisciplined mind either overlooks it or is too hesitant to act. Thus, what the world calls luck is simply the meeting of disciplined thinking with opportunity. There are countless examples of men and women who had no apparent advantages in life but still achieved greatness. They were not born into wealth, they had no special connections, and many began with less than nothing. Yet what they possessed was the ability to hold their thoughts steady upon what they wanted. They did not waste time envying those who seemed more fortunate. They directed their thinking toward building, creating, and persisting. Over time, their thoughts attracted the right people, the right resources, and the right timing. The world may have looked at their success and said, they were lucky. But the truth is that their consistent, disciplined, and directed thinking created the conditions that others mistook for chance. Every individual has this same capacity. The difference is whether they will harness it. To discipline the mind requires effort. It means rejecting thoughts of weakness and replacing them with thoughts of strength. It means refusing to let imagination dwell on failure and training it instead to dwell on success. It means waking each day with a definite picture of the goal and keeping that picture alive no matter what circumstances arise. Directed thought means not only knowing what you want, but aligning every mental image, every decision, and every action with that destination. Success is therefore not a game of chance. It is not reserved for the few who are lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. It is a science of the mind, a result of deliberate mental discipline and steady direction. Those who learn to master their thoughts, who learn to control their focus and sharpen their vision, are the ones who rise again and again, while others wait passively for luck that never arrives. Clarity of vision is essential because without it the mind drifts aimlessly, pulled in every direction by distractions, doubts, and the desires of others. A person who does not know exactly what they want becomes like a ship without a compass, moving wherever the wind blows, but never reaching a meaningful destination. Success demands direction, and direction begins with vision. A clear vision acts as the guiding star, giving purpose to thoughts, shaping decisions, and fueling persistence. When the mind knows precisely what it seeks, it organizes its resources, focuses its energy, and naturally attracts the circumstances that bring the vision to life. Vision is the picture of the future held within the imagination, and clarity is what gives that picture strength. Many people live with vague wishes. They say they want to be successful, but they cannot define what success means to them. They wish for wealth, but they have no clear number, no plan, no picture of the life they want that wealth to provide. They hope for happiness, but happiness remains an undefined dream instead of a concrete destination. Because their vision is blurry, their actions are inconsistent. They change direction often, abandoning one path for another, chasing opportunities that do not align, and scattering their energy until little is achieved. The lack of clarity is the root of their frustration. Those who accomplish great things in life begin by creating a vision so vivid it becomes real in their imagination long before it becomes real in the physical world. They close their eyes and see the details, the kind of life they will live, the contributions they will make, the goals they will reach, and the impact they will leave. They know not only what they want, but why they want it. This clarity is powerful because it ignites belief. When the mind is certain of its aim, doubt loses its strength. A person with a clear vision walks with confidence, speaks with conviction, and acts with persistence because they are no longer questioning whether the goal is possible. They are simply working toward what they already see as real. Clarity also simplifies decision-making. Life presents endless choices, and many people become paralyzed by indecision, unsure which path to take. But when vision is clear, choices are filtered through it. The question becomes simply, does this path serve the vision or distract from it? If it serves, it is chosen. If it does not, it is discarded. This sharpens focus, eliminates wasted effort, and prevents the exhaustion that comes from chasing after too many directions at once. The person with clarity becomes powerful not because they do more, but because they do the right things, aligned with the vision they have chosen. Clarity of vision fuels persistence. The road to any worthy goal is long, filled with obstacles, delays, and tests of patience. Those who lack a clear vision often give up when the path becomes difficult because they never truly knew what they were working for. Without clarity, the pain of the struggle feels greater than the hope of the reward. But the individual who holds a vivid picture of the destination does not surrender so easily. When they stumble, the vision pulls them back up. When they grow weary, the vision gives them strength. When critics doubt them, the vision keeps them steady. The power of a clear vision is that it acts like an anchor in the storm, reminding the mind of why the journey is worth continuing. History honors those who have lived with extraordinary clarity of vision. Leaders who inspired nations did so because they painted a clear picture of the future in the minds of their people. Inventors who changed the course of humanity held visions of possibilities that did not yet exist, but they saw them so clearly that they pursued them until the world could see them too. Artists, writers, and thinkers who shaped culture all began with a vision so vivid it demanded to be expressed. These individuals were not superior in talent to everyone else. Their greatness came from clarity. They knew what they wanted and they pursued it with unwavering direction. Clarity is not merely a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, energy is wasted, potential is lost, and time slips away. With it, even ordinary men and women accomplish extraordinary things. The mind is a powerful workshop, but it requires a blueprint, and that blueprint is vision. A clear vision gives form to thought, channels desire, and unites imagination with action. It becomes a magnet, pulling into your life the people, opportunities, and resources required to fulfill it. The clearer the vision, the stronger the magnet. To cultivate clarity, one must be willing to define what they want in detail and commit to it. This means writing it down, imagining it daily, and reminding oneself of it constantly. It means stripping away vague wishes and replacing them with precise goals. It means rejecting distractions that do not align, even when they appear tempting, because they would only pull energy away from the chosen destination. Clarity requires honesty, because you must look within and decide what truly matters to you, not what others expect, not what society pressures you to want, but what resonates with your deepest desires. When vision becomes clear, the future becomes certain, not because the path will be easy, but because the mind, body, and spirit are aligned in a single direction. A clear vision transforms confusion into confidence, hesitation into action, and struggle into growth. It is the force that turns dreamers into achievers and wanderers into leaders. It is the foundation upon which every enduring success is built, the spark that lights the fire of purpose, and the compass that ensures no matter how rough the journey, the destination will be reached. Persistence of thought fuels belief because the mind becomes whatever it is repeatedly fed. A single idea, if entertained only once, fades quickly like a spark in the wind. But when that same idea is held over and over again, it becomes a flame that refuses to be extinguished. Belief does not arrive instantly. It is cultivated through persistence. The repeated act of focusing on a thought gives it strength, and with strength it begins to shape conviction. Just as drops of water falling steadily on stone eventually carve their mark, persistent thoughts carve belief into the mind until it becomes unshakable. When a person first dares to imagine a bold dream, their mind may immediately whisper doubt. The vision may feel too big, the challenge too great, the obstacles too heavy. But if that thought of possibility is returned to again and again, doubt begins to weaken. The mind slowly adjusts to the idea, begins to see it as possible, and eventually accepts it as inevitable. What was once only a fragile hope becomes a firm belief. The secret is persistence, the refusal to let go of the vision regardless of how many times the world says it cannot be done. This persistence of thought is the seed of all achievement. Great inventors, leaders, and creators did not begin with certainty. They began with an idea that others laughed at, resisted, or dismissed as foolish. Yet they returned to that idea daily, nurturing it, imagining it, speaking it, and working for it until their own belief became so strong that nothing could shake it. When the mind is trained in this way, obstacles lose their power. Setbacks are seen not as proof of failure, but as temporary challenges on the way to the goal. Persistence of thought strengthens the resolve to try again, to push forward, to continue even when immediate results do not appear. Belief is not a passive state, it is an active force that moves people to action. Persistent thoughts of success create a mental environment where belief thrives. Once belief takes root, action flows naturally because the individual no longer wonders whether their effort is worthwhile. They know it is. They have rehearsed the vision so many times in their imagination that it feels real, and the mind begins to act as if it already exists. The energy of this conviction is powerful. It draws others in, inspires confidence, and attracts opportunities that align with the vision. People are drawn to those who believe deeply, and that belief is almost always the product of persistence. It is important to understand that persistence of thought does not mean blind repetition of words without feeling. It means holding the vision with emotion, with focus, with intensity, until it sinks into the subconscious mind. The subconscious accepts repeated ideas as truth, and once it accepts them, it begins to direct behavior, choices, and actions in ways that align with the belief. This is why persistent negative thinking produces failure, and persistent positive thinking produces success. The mind is shaped by repetition, whether you choose it consciously or not. The wise individual therefore chooses to persist in thoughts of possibility, strength, and victory until those thoughts harden into belief. There will always be moments when persistence is tested. Difficulties will arise, results will be delayed, and critics will mock. It is in those moments that persistence of thought is most vital. To return again to the vision in the face of discouragement is to build belief that is unbreakable. Each time the mind is challenged but chooses to persist, belief grows stronger. Eventually, it becomes a force greater than any external circumstance. This is how ordinary men and women accomplish extraordinary things. They persist in thought long enough for belief to take over, and belief carries them to heights they once thought impossible. The truth is simple yet profound. Belief is not a gift granted by luck or chance. It is the product of mental persistence. The individual who chooses to hold their vision daily, who refuses to abandon it no matter how long it takes, builds belief as surely as a builder lays stones to raise a wall. Over time, that wall becomes unshakable, a fortress of conviction that protects the dream and makes success inevitable. The universe supports strong belief because belief is the signal the mind sends out to the world, and the world responds to it. When a person believes with conviction, their thoughts, words, and actions carry a force that others can feel. They walk differently, speak differently, and approach challenges differently. This energy attracts opportunities, people, and resources that align with what they hold in their mind. Belief sets the direction, and the universe arranges the details to support it. Without belief, even the best plans falter, because hesitation and doubt weaken the ability to recognize and seize the chances that appear. With strong belief, every circumstance, whether favorable or unfavorable, is seen as part of the path toward the goal. Strong belief transforms the way you interpret events. A setback to a person of weak belief feels like confirmation of failure, but to someone with strong belief, it appears as a lesson, a stepping stone, or even a hidden gift. The universe does not always provide success in the way we expect. Sometimes it sends delays to test persistence, failures to teach strategy, or obstacles to build resilience. The one who believes continues forward regardless, trusting that even in hardship there is alignment with the ultimate goal. This trust itself becomes a magnet, drawing in the right circumstances at the right time. The relationship between belief and action cannot be ignored. A person who believes strongly in their vision acts with confidence and boldness. They are willing to risk, to move forward, to commit fully, because in their mind the outcome is already certain. This unwavering attitude is what the world responds to. People are drawn to those who radiate certainty, and they naturally want to join, assist, or invest in someone who demonstrates such conviction. The universe responds through people, and strong belief has the power to rally support, build alliances, and open doors that doubt would keep closed. Belief also sharpens awareness. The human mind is constantly filtering information, noticing some things while ignoring others. When belief is weak, the mind dismisses opportunities because it does not expect them to be useful. When belief is strong, the mind begins to see connections and chances that others overlook. Suddenly, the right conversation appears, the right book comes into your hands, the right idea flashes in your imagination. These moments feel like coincidence, but they are the universe aligning with the energy of belief. The truth is that those opportunities were always present, but only the mind convinced of its vision is able to see and act upon them. Strong belief generates resilience. Life will always bring difficulties, but the person who believes deeply does not quit easily. They know the universe rewards persistence, and they trust that continued effort will eventually bring results. This endurance is often the very thing that causes success, because most people surrender too soon. When belief is weak, the smallest obstacle can end a dream. When belief is strong, no obstacle can permanently stop it. The universe seems to test the depth of belief, giving success not to the first attempt, but to the one who continues long after others have given up. Throughout history, this pattern has repeated itself. Inventors who changed the world often faced repeated failures, but their belief in their vision was stronger than the voices of doubt. Leaders who moved nations forward did so not because circumstances were easy, but because their belief gave others something to hold on to. Artists, thinkers, and dreamers persisted in their work long after society rejected them, and in time the universe rewarded their belief with recognition and impact. In every case, belief was the force that kept them moving and opened doors at the right time. Belief must not be confused with mere wishing. Wishing is weak and fades with difficulty. Belief is strong, persistent, and backed by thought and action. It is belief that fuels imagination in the dark, that inspires effort when energy is low, and that whispers, "is possible," when the world says otherwise. The universe supports strong belief because strong belief is not passive, it is alive, active, and relentless. It projects certainty into the world, and certainty always attracts the elements needed to make it real. When you decide to believe fully in your vision, you send a powerful message not only to your own mind, but also to the world around you. Every action you take begins to align with that vision. Every person you meet feels the strength of your conviction, and every circumstance begins to bend toward your chosen direction. This is not magic, it is the natural law of belief. The universe supports the mind that refuses to waver, and the dream that is held with unshakable faith eventually becomes reality. Your future is written by your thoughts today, because the mind is the architect of destiny. Every idea you dwell upon, every picture you hold in your imagination, and every belief you repeat silently becomes the blueprint for the life you will live tomorrow. The mind is constantly planting seeds, and those seeds grow into habits, choices, and results that shape your path. Just as a farmer knows the harvest will reflect the quality of the seed, your future will reflect the quality of your thoughts. You cannot sow thoughts of fear and limitation and expect to reap confidence and success. The harvest will always match the seed, and the seed is planted by your present state of mind. When you think of your goals with faith, determination, and persistence, you are designing a future of achievement. The mind records these dominant thoughts and directs your actions to align with them. On the other hand, if your thoughts are clouded by doubt, worry, or procrastination, then the future being written is one of hesitation and missed opportunities. The mind does not distinguish between what is wanted and what is feared. It simply accepts repeated ideas as commands and works to bring them into reality. This is why it is so important to guard what you think about each day. The thoughts that dominate your mind now are the raw materials out of which your future will be built. The present moment might appear small, but it carries immense power because it sets the direction of all that follows. Each thought is like a brushstroke on the canvas of life. Alone, it may not seem significant, but repeated strokes in the same direction eventually create the entire picture. A person who spends today thinking of possibilities, of courage, of solutions, and of growth is drawing a picture of a strong tomorrow. A person who spends today dwelling on obstacles, complaints, and limitations is drawing a picture of struggle and regret. The future is never an accident. It is always the accumulation of today's mental patterns. Consider how often great achievements begin with a single thought that is nurtured over time. Every invention, every work of art, every successful business, and every personal triumph began as a vision in someone's mind. Those individuals allowed their minds to dwell on the thought of success rather than defeat. They repeated it, believed it, and acted upon it until the thought became flesh. In the same way, every person alive is constantly creating their future through the repeated thoughts they entertain. You may not realize it, but your mind is writing the script for your life with every idea you choose to hold or release. The challenge is that many people allow their minds to drift on autopilot, filled with random, uncontrolled thoughts shaped by fear, gossip, or the opinions of others. They wonder why their future feels uncertain or disappointing, not realizing that they themselves have been writing it unconsciously through the quality of their daily thinking. Just as no builder would construct a house without a plan, no one should expect a fulfilling life without directing the mind. Your thoughts are the plans, and without deliberate attention, the structure of your future will be weak and unstable. Directing your thoughts does not mean denying difficulties or pretending problems do not exist. It means choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems, opportunities instead of obstacles, and growth instead of stagnation. Every problem contains the seed of a solution, but only a mind trained to think constructively will recognize it. Every setback can be the beginning of a comeback, but only a mind filled with determination will treat it as such. When you discipline yourself to think in alignment with your goals, you begin to notice possibilities and pathways that were invisible before. This mental focus shapes your decisions, and your decisions shape your destiny. Your future is not determined by chance or luck, but by the consistent thoughts you hold. This is why two people in the same circumstances can create completely different lives. One allows fear and doubt to dominate, and their future reflects those thoughts. The other holds on to courage and belief, and their future reflects growth and achievement. The difference is not in external conditions, but in the inner direction of thought. Life bends to the strongest mental image you persistently carry within you. Every day you are faced with the choice of what kind of future you want to write. Do you want to write a story of success, confidence, and fulfillment, or a story of failure, fear, and regret? The pen is in your hands, and that pen is your mind. If you begin each day by filling your thoughts with determination, gratitude, and vision, you are writing a brighter tomorrow. If you allow your mind to dwell on worries, complaints, and limitations, you are writing a darker one. No one else can write it for you. Your destiny is authored in the privacy of your own mind, long before it shows up in your external circumstances. The truth is that the future is not some distant event waiting to happen. It is being created right now, in this very moment, through your thoughts. Every decision, every action, every habit begins with thought, and repeated thoughts become beliefs that direct the entire course of your life. If you want a future of success, think in terms of success today. If you want a future of growth, think in terms of growth today. The mind will obey the instructions you give it, and the universe will align to support the image you hold. Your future is being written now, not tomorrow, not next year, but in the quiet, invisible activity of your thoughts in this present moment. Your mind is the compass that points to the future you will live. Guard it, direct it, and fill it with thoughts that serve your vision, because every belief you hold today becomes the reality you step into tomorrow. The power to create your destiny has always been within you. Use it wisely.